Hi, Kathy Papike.
Hi, Tammy.
I have Kathy Papike here today. We're sitting outside because COVID-19, right? Pandemic. Staying safe. But, Kathy Papike, a balanced self, Reiki master, yoga instructor, healing touch level 3, and oracle card reading. And she also does, which is something I just recently learned about, or relearn, biomagnetic energy therapy. Biomagnetic energy therapy. And she's going to talk about these things.
Hi, Tammy. Okay, so my background is energy healing, and through that I've learned all these different great tools from my toolbox. I first started Reiki, or actually yoga, about 20 years ago. And that was right after a divorce, so for me it was a way to de-stress while maintaining some physical release and increasing my flexibility. And from there I've actually discovered Reiki about 5 years ago, which is an energy healing technique from Japan. And it's a light touch that releases energy blocks in the body that are causing pain, discomfort, all kinds of different amazing things. And recently, actually probably about 2.5 years ago, I started biomagnetic energy therapy, and what that is, it's actual earth magnets that you use to balance pH levels in the body, and they actually get placed on the body. Although with COVID, we actually realized and determined you can actually do distance healing with that as well as Reiki, where you get in touch with the client either through Zoom or just even a phone call and find out what issues they're having, and you actually can do distance healing with the magnets.
That's really incredible. It reminds me of how the atoms or something like that, like in CERN, and you slice one, slice it just like that. Did you get that?
There are no accidents.
I love it. So, so you do certified personal trainer, and to reach you is 2BEA balanced with the ED, and I'll post everything on the notes. Self.com, 2BEA balanced self.com. Biomagnetic energy therapy, a healing modality used to balance the pH levels in the body, as you were saying. Are you going to demonstrate for me?
Sure. And the great thing is, usually we do a kinesiology test, but again, with distance, we have to lay down, but I can do it. But so with distance healing, so if Tammy was my client, I would reach out and we would have a conversation, and she could tell me.
I keep getting a sty on my eyes since my birthday, and I think it's because I'm not having enough fun.
Okay.
Or perhaps my diet, or walking in dust, my analogies, or I don't get to see my little granddaughters.
That's what I'm intuitively basically saying for that. What don't you want to see? Or what do you want to see? So her eye is letting her know. So we actually usually would do a kinesiology test, but we can also do a spot placement test. So I will show you what. Oops, a second. I got it. Here are the earth magnets. And to balance the pH levels, you would have two opposite polarities, one red and one black. And usually for a spot placement, one actually would be placed on the kidney. So it's going to go on the opposite kidney. And then the other one is going to go on the spot. So in this case, your eye, we actually use medical tape. Or I'm pretty environmental, so I try to use different things. And with COVID, I would wash this. So to make it easier, I would actually place this over her eye.
And is it always important to lie down, or I could sit like this?
You could, since we're doing spot placement, but when we do a regular session in person, or even distance, I use a massage table, and even distance will intend that the person is on the table, so I can place the magnets on the different areas of the body.
How'd you know it was my right eye?
And then this is going to go on the kidney, and again, that's going to help balance the pH levels.
Do you need it under the shirt or over
No,
it?
it can go over the shirt. So it goes, and you can tell, and I'll let Tammy try this, so you can see. So a regular magnet on your fridge is less than 100 of the measurements of this. This is almost 1,000, and if you look, it's really hard to get them to get apart because that is what is doing the...
And I hold them in this hand?
No, actually, you can hold this one in your right hand, and this in your And you can let it set. And usually you would actually, the scan usually lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. And then you would lay on the table for about 15 to 20 minutes as well.
Wow.
And then during that session, we jokingly say that you're cooking. And while you're cooking, I actually now do a Reiki session as well, which again is that energy healing. So the two together is really amazing. And with both, it's really, the great thing about this is you're getting to the root of the problem. You're not just treating the symptoms, you're treating what's causing it in the first place. So generally, bacteria, virus, parasites. So where is that coming from? Where is that symptom coming from? Sometimes it's emotional. We were joking about our eye, that is a common concept, is like with the eye injuries or eye fatigue, what don't you want to see? Knees are a lot about not wanting to move forward with things in life or feeling stuck, so our knees don't want to move. Backs, I don't feel like I have support. So our bodies are amazing messengers about little things, little, I say, but they're not, that we can really get to the root of other bigger problems. Even anti-inflammatory or inflammation illnesses that people have, that's a lot of holding on to so much in so many different areas that the body doesn't know how to heal itself, so we tend to hold on to that.
Wow.
So Dash looks like a pirate. Yeah, we'll leave it for a little bit because it's just, and the great thing about this is natural. These are earth magnets. It was discovered in Mexico. That's where they started it. And my mentor is in Texas and uses it for all kinds of different, he actually had cancer throughout his whole body. And they wanted to do chemo, and he discovered this, and he literally, 2 weeks later, he was pretty much cured. So pretty amazing. And it's like anything, different people are going to have different results, so there are no guarantees. But for me, I personally would like to use a more natural approach.
And he probably changed his diet as well, maybe more alkaline foods.
Well, it balanced it enough, and with him, he had a good response. His was literally one treatment. Sometimes it's 3 to 6 treatments.
Everybody's so different.
Yep.
And yeah, like me, even for a few seconds here, I'm probably such a fast healer that I'll just be magically healed.
And our body,
Never
and that's
know.
the part. I do in the hospital, I do Reiki. And, a lot of times it's that mentality of sometimes people don't want to feel better. It's their comfort zone. So my mission in life is to really help people feel better in ways that are not as invasive, that they feel comfortable and safe with, so that they can. Because our bodies really do want to be whole. I genuinely.
And we can do this at the studio as well, right? To get a full effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And during with COVID again, different places are doing, more restrictions. So you're just really making conscious efforts to make sure the client is safe and healthy, because that's really important. Yeah.
And as you were saying, Reiki, getting back to Reiki, you were talking about the magnets, and you were saying that it's from Mexico?
The originator, Goiz, was from Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We're always constantly, well, not always, but we can be always constantly bombarded with feelings of distress and chaos. So awesome and amazing and vital to have these tools. Yeah, and I was reading on your website that your goal is to create a space where we can come together and find a sense of balance within ourselves and our community.
Exactly. Because we get so caught up in work that little tools that you can have to take away, even if it's a 5-minute yoga session or meditation or self-Reiki, which I teach classes in that, having those tools so you can disconnect from the chaos is so important. And I even teach kids, because start young. I didn't learn about any of this till I was older, and not that I'm old, but and so I'm just very thankful that I've been able to share this information with children, and it's pretty.
What's your youngest child? That's
I taught
for yoga. This is right.
Well, yoga I actually taught at my friend's kindergarten class and her neighboring teachers. That was 2 groups of 35, which was just amazing. But I've also taught children's Reiki classes.
Wow.
So little healers, and it's just amazing because they really wanted to learn. And I actually brought my dog for them to practice on.
They're the best.
And so just that connection of just honesty and just from their heart was really heartfelt.
Animals and children are so intuitive because they're not bombarded with all this other superficial things, and they see what's whole.
Yep.
I mean, I had an Australian Shepherd. I always believe he had a past life, he was Houdini.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was a trickster and he can get out of anything, and he could even jump. I don't even know how many feet and survive. The groundskeeper always would see him jump.
It was their little. That's amazing.
But the funny part is, because I used to do healing work out of my home, and one time he wouldn't let somebody in our house. He wouldn't let them step over the threshold. We found out later they were not a very good person, but yeah, he knew. That dog knew. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And I love it's non-invasive, and like you're saying, Reiki and these magnets, it's very non-invasive, does no harm,
Right.
very safe.
And for the community part, I am actually starting a nonprofit for first responders, including these modalities, because they have resources, but sometimes they don't feel comfortable going to a mainstream doctor, but yet they are worried their friends or peers might judge them. And so I'm actually starting a nonprofit for them too, that they don't have to basically pay. Businesses would help sponsor it so they can get services.
I know what you're talking about. Because even with this eye, all summer, went to doctors, went to the emergency room because it's both my eyes, and they couldn't do anything. Actually, they gave me the wrong thing, like, oh, the wrong drops, don't I want to go there. So I reached out to a friend similar to yourself, and certain foods in my diet I needed as well because of the source of what we talked about. Within 2 days, it's almost gone.
Our bodies are amazing.
Right? So much so. So I like how you say you're sharing this positive, inspirational quotes as well on your website and affirmations as they are presented to you, hoping we can all benefit from the words and actions of others. And the moment we decide things, we don't have to be certain. We don't have to be a certain way. We create the possibilities that could be better than we know to imagine them. That's the tiny Buddha saying.
My favorite current quote, though, which I really should update my page, is "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Be the change you want to see in the world.
From Gandhi. Because with everything going on, we can complain, we can live in fear, but if I can just impact one person by being positive, I think that's what I'm meant to be doing.
And that's the whole reason that I do this show. We can impact that one person. You just never know.
Yeah.
It's true.
And because then that person will impact another person. And it's that domino effect. It truly is like that law of attraction. When you attract positivity, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, you're so." It's true. If I can choose to live a negative, angry life, or I can live more positively and try to make an impact, because it makes me feel better too.
And people that aren't familiar with what affirmations are.
Affirmations are it's basically a quote, like finding a quote or words that resonate with you that you'll say over and over throughout the day. Sometimes I'll leave post-its on my mirror, so it's the first thing I see in the morning, as a reminder of what you've set as an intention and something that you can give yourself, kind of like a little boost.
Yeah, like a prayer, like a mantra, just something positive, some positive thinking.
Yeah. And I'll even leave them in my car. I'll find them months later in weird places, because that's when it was meant for me to re-see those words.
And Kat, you still do Reiki workshops? Is that right, or is it online? Is it in person?
Right now, because of COVID, again, doing it online with Zoom. I mean, hopefully in the near future we can do them in person again. But I do introduction, I do certifications. Again, I do children's. I also teach chakra workshops. Basically, chakras are energy fields in the body, but really go digging deep to explain them. Crystal classes. So lots of different.
They're the color of the rainbow. I remember recognizing that one day, going, "It's beautiful."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very important, and there's so much to it. Yeah, we would need longer than an hour just to explain the basics.
Yeah. Well, that particular workshop, I try and be funny. I think I am, but I'm probably not. But I try, like, that particular workshop is, what the heck is a chakra? Because in our world, we know after years of working with it, but in general, if someone saw the word, they would basically say, "What is that?" And as a healer, I'll mention to a client what is out of balance in that particular chakra, and so then I explain it. But when they first hear it, they're like, "What is she talking about?"
I know, it is, because same in my world, like, this is normal. My friends usually know what this is about, but there are people that I'll meet, and they don't know these words. It's like a foreign language, and then I have to remember, I could be teaching them these things too.
Right. And then it's a reason your paths are meeting because and it's like chakra that those have actually been around for thousands of years in Eastern medicine. So our culture is slowly becoming more aware of them.
Wheel and we're constantly circulating, etc. Let's see. I want to hear about your your experience with the COVID-19, the pandemic. What has been your experience?
So in the beginning, everyone, and we're not going to see anybody. We're not talking. It was really, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to my business? And then we realized, because in our world of Reiki, you learn when you're first learning it about distance healing. So it's kind of like you're sending a prayer to that person, but energetically, you're doing like a healing session for different people. So I realized with technology, we actually can still help people. And so that's what I've been using as a tool. I've been doing Zoom yoga classes. And then it's kind of fun because if you're running late, you can just log in on your phone. Or, when you have to rush to the studio, you have that extra 15 minutes on both sides. So it's actually really good for time management because you can just log in wherever you are. So,
what days of the week do you do the online Zoom yoga?
With chair yoga, I do Wednesday and Saturday mornings, and then Thursday afternoons.
But we'll post that as well as a reminder because it could change.
Yeah, and when things are reopened, I also have done corporate yoga classes, and
I like that.
When things reopen, because again, that balance at work, you're stressed, just get away from your desk. The chair yoga is great for that too. These stretches you can do at your desk. So I always do meditation and usually pull cards for people at the end, little oracle cards.
We're going to talk about that too. We can talk about it now. Okay. Oracle cards. Let's do it.
Do you want me to pull one for you?
Sure.
Okay, let me put...
Do we have everything here, or is it holding up my computer?
Sorry, excuse my... There we go. Let me put that down.
We're improvising today, which is great.
So oracle cards are... Most of you have probably heard of tarot cards, but oracles tend to have a little less, I'll say, judgment behind them because tarot, sometimes people get worked up in like dark stuff, which
they see the death,
and none of that is. It's all intention. So I use them as a tool for guidance. So part of my business is wellness, guidance, and support. So this I'm going to pull a card for Tammy. So do you have any question?
I'm taking a trip to Sedona, so let's see what the cards have to say about how my trip's going to go.
Okay,
how's that?
So I shuffled, and I'm just going to pull the top card for you. And Miss Tammy, I already know this is her project, her baby that she's worked on for a while. And the card that I just pulled for you is New Beginnings.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture.
And it actually kind of reminds me of Sedona, where she'll be going.
Now.
And so what do you see when you first see this card?
Oh yeah, the red rocks.
Yeah.
The beautiful sunsets.
So it's a perfect thing with her, like when I just see it, we just talked about chakras. Actually, every chakra color is represented in there. So that new beginning is going to bring you into balance, your finances into balance, your career, just lining up your mission, and it's the next step in that journey. And you even have universal support with the stars, so I think it's going to be good.
There's a few people to interview there too.
That's so great.
But I want to be at a place where I can clear my head, just go hiking a lot more and just be in nature, right? I mean, that's the best thing right now, to be outdoors where we still can. I'll do one more if you want. Sure. Why not? Have fun.
And when you just said that about getting outdoors, that's one big suggestion I've had for most of my clients throughout all of this is get outside. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, it's better than not. And your body really needs that connection to earth elements. Maybe it's literally that whole hugging a tree. We need that earth connection because that's where we're from. We're all from earth. So it's that guidance and just that support of nature.
It's like when you're talking, you're reminding me when I'm walking the beach and I see people wearing their shoes. I mean, I can understand if the sand was cold, but it's not. And they don't realize just taking their shoes off how that is so really important, that touch with the sand and
because
elements.
The shoes, what are they made out of, right? And I know some people, I don't want to touch the sand, but you can wash it off. It's true, because there's rubber, and all day you're walking on those fake chemicals, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull a card that is, what does your soul want? What is your soul telling you? And this will be, even though we're already into December, this will be your card for December.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, this is okay.
It'd be funny if it
the
was the
first
same
one
one.
was new beginnings. Now this you're gonna love. Fulfillment.
Nice.
So now look at the beautiful ripe
Peach.
The peach that is so ripe, that has matured, like your passion is maturing. You have come so far. The moon, you've got the support again of the universal energy from the moon, which is just huge. And then look at the vibrant green leaves.
Beautiful.
So the fulfillment of all that you've worked for.
It's funny. I just mentioned peaches last night. I'm like, I'm craving peaches.
Did you? And I didn't know that. So, and that's again, it's a tool. So it's like for guidance. And my mentor for this really talked about kind of more like, rather than yes or no questions. I was mentioning to Tammy, not past, present, or future, because I can't predict the future. I mean, I can suggest based on, intuitive, but he likes to reference it as past, present, and possibilities.
It's nice. That's a nice word. Possibilities, always.
Or potential, potentially what's going to happen. So that's kind of what I like to, I've learned from that.
So let me ask you what your spirit animal is, a book you recommend, or a saying you like to say.
Well, I already told you my saying about... Actually, one of my other sayings is when I did inner child work for myself, my therapist always said, someone's venting or whatever, rather than just giving your advice, say, can I make a suggestion? Because sometimes people just want you to listen. They don't necessarily want an answer, and they don't really want to hear the answer. So I always open that, and my friends like to laugh because I'll say, can I make a suggestion? And so that's that. My spirit guide is last meditation I did, it was a white owl.
It's funny you say that.
But I tend to really resonate lately. I see a lot of dragonflies and hummingbirds.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And they all have powerful meanings.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then book? Oh. In my world for healing, I really love the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. Great. It gives you homework to do on the different body parts, affirmations to work with the different body parts. I use it almost every time I have a new client, just to give guidance on, again, what you might be holding on to.
One of my favorite books recently I'm reading is by Cindy Dale, Cyndi, different. It's an encyclopedia, but I found a PDF.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, The Subtle Body. And explains it all, it's long. So this is nicer.
You can email me. All right, I actually would like to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
But for fun, I don't even know. I do read fun, but it's more on my Kindle.
Is there anything else? Well, I don't know if this is a birthday wish, dream come true, doing this kind of work.
Well, it's just finally, after so many years of not really knowing, I was going to teach. This is kind of bringing that teaching to the forefront, but on a different level. So now I can teach not just children, which was going to be when I was going to teach middle school, but I can teach everyone, adults, kids, parents, myself. So I am just really excited on what the future has.
And how we met.
Through Reiki. Reiki Share and Starbucks.
Yeah, that's right.
Starbucks just got a shout out, sorry.
Anybody that knows me knows I love my espresso macchiatos.
Yeah, so that's true, yeah. And actually, I worked at Starbucks for over 10 years, and I'm on a coffee break, it's called. So it was literally started right before COVID, and so I have that to fall back on, but luckily I'm not really having to do that.
And we're very blessed to have this Reiki Share online with a group of gals and guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another validation on it working, because again, when we first learned Reiki healing, you're like, oh, I can send distance healing, and you do, but we're doing a share once a month where you actually practice with another person and you get healing too, because we tend as healers not to take the time for ourselves, but it's really important. Even 15 minutes makes a huge difference.
Makes a big difference. That's true. Any last words of advice or something you just want to say?
Just take that time for self-care, especially during the holidays. You get wrapped up in what can you do for everyone else, but you definitely should find value for yourself, even if it's 5 minutes. And that's another quote I learned from that same therapist, was you have to take the time because you can't make more time.
Yeah,
there are literally 24 hours in a day, and you don't get to make more time, but you can take and make your selection on what you want to do with your time.
Well, thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for being on my show, Tuesday with Tammy.
Thank you. Namaste.